Today I'm going to do some maintenance on the Wagon R here. This is a 2000 Wagon R double R. So this has the turbocharged F6A. This is a really late F6A car. We are just going to change the coolant out because I'm a little low, and yeah, I don't know how old the coolant is in there, so it should be pretty easy. We'll have to see. I'll get the camera set up here in a second. I'm still waiting for it to cool off a little bit. So I already got the radiator cap off, let the car cool down. This is the drain plug right here. I'm gonna try and get this off. I got my Harbor Freight bucket. So let's try and get this off. Hopefully it doesn't go everywhere all over my camera. That would be nice, preferable. And it is indeed going everywhere. Plastic. Just let that sit for a second. So that actually came out really easily. It doesn't even have any like lock on it. It's literally just regularly threaded with this little O-ring, so that's not a problem to remove. So unfortunately, I bought this kit from Harbor Freight. You know, it's like the no spill coolant burping kit. None of these fit this radiator cap. I thought one of them would, but none of them fit that size, unfortunately. So unfortunate, but good to know. So most of the coolant has drained into the bucket here. It's not a lot, obviously, because this is a very small engine. But there is still some, if you pop that cap here on the expansion tank, there is still some in the expansion tank. So what I'm going to do is, this is already unhooked. I'm going to try and slide this out somehow and then dump the expansion tank out. So you might want to remove the battery. This is kind of stuck in here, but it does just slide up. There's this ground wire here. I think I can get it out if I just take off this ground wire. There you go, it's out. Just make sure that these washers all stay in the same order, because, I don't know, the last thing you want is electrical problems in a car. So there's the expansion tank. There's just, you can kind of see it, there's just a little bit left in there. And you don't want to mix coolants usually. So now that I drained all the coolant out of this and just rinsed it out really quick, just gonna slide it back in there. You can't really see it, but the bracket's right there. It's literally just slid in. That's it. So once again, I mean, you could remove the battery if you want. It was a little bit tight, but not a huge deal. So I also happened to get, like I said earlier, this new drain plug and O-ring. So I'm gonna really quickly get these out of the bag and put everything on, because why not? I have the parts, right? So this is really simple. All it is just the O-ring goes on this outer edge. And this is a better look at the drain plug. It literally just screws in. Do not over tighten this. Only hand tighten. It's better to drip a little bit of coolant if it's somehow too loose, which it won't be. It'll be fine. Rather than snapping this, especially if you don't have two. That would really suck. That would put your whole car out of commission. So just go ahead, put this back in. Just like that. You'll see that it's flush with the actual part that juts out from the radiator. So now we're back up top, and yeah, unfortunately this radiator kit, it just does not work. This one doesn't fit on, even though it looks a very similar size to the one that was on the car, and this one fits over, but it doesn't, it just spins. So that's not useful. So this is the coolant that I'm using. It's just Peak, the green for Asian vehicles. It says on here even Suzuki pre-2010 and up. So it should be okay. I guess I'm still gonna use this, but I don't know, whatever. So this is probably gonna get a little bit messy, but thankfully I had to buy 2 of these jugs because it just barely needs to, I think. So if we spill a little, it's fine. Just making sure I'm not spilling it all on the ground, since this is not the ideal funnel. You're going to want to fill the radiator all the way to the top here. The good thing about this funnel though is that if I do accidentally pour too much into the funnel itself, I can plug it, so that's nice. And I think it's full, I'm not sure. Definitely. I'm just going to give this upper radiator hose here some squeezes a little bit, just to try and get some. I should put the bucket back on here, that would be smart, wouldn't it? Just to try and get some air out of here. I don't know how hard it's going to be to bleed this system. So now that this is relatively full, and before I start the car for the first time, I am going to put a little bit of coolant in the expansion tank here, just so that this hose isn't sucking up any air. So I added a little too much, but I think it'll be fine. I didn't realize how small the tank actually is. Time to start the car. And of course, your usual, you want the heater on max, blowing all the way, and then we're gonna see where we go from there. So it sucked that down pretty quick, so I need to add more. You just kind of want to make sure that this is full, because if it's not, and you look down and there's no coolant in there, it's probably going to be sucking up a little bit of air potentially, and eventually this should keep going down. That's supposed to be the purpose of this, is to keep this on here, but unfortunately it doesn't fit, so I can't do that. Obviously, keep an eye on your temperature in there. You want to make sure that everything's okay, and I'm about to go under and check for leaks. I might just try and hold this here, see if that works better. And unfortunately there is coolant all over everything, but I don't know, maybe you would have better luck finding one of these that fits this car. Yeah, I think I could just kind of hold it here. So you really want to keep this going for a good while until the bubbles are gone, and you can also give it a few revs from the throttle cable there to try and just circulate more coolant around the engine, get that water pump going a little bit. That's just what I'm doing. I'm just revving it a little bit, pouring more coolant in here until it stops putting up air bubbles. We're almost done here, I think. It's drank about a whole bottle of coolant, which is what I expected, and I've just been holding the engine RPM at like 2,000, 2,500, and it's just been coming bubbles up, so just keep going. Okay, it's been like 40 minutes. It's taken a lot longer than expected, but I think we're about good now. Now when I rev the engine for 30, 40 seconds, it does not really push any more bubbles up. So I'm going to plug this up and try not to scald myself and put the cap back on. I would also really recommend buying a new cap when you're doing this. There you go.